Hola todos, welcome back to European Spanish. In today's video, we're going to talk about the adjective, el adjetivo, and we're going to divide the video into different parts. In today's video, we'll see what the adjective is, how to use it in Spanish, and different groups. So if you're interested, don't forget to subscribe and let's start. Right, so the adjective is a word that describes a noun. In Spanish, the adjective must agree in gender, feminine and masculine, and number, singular or plural, with the noun that they are describing. Now, depending on the ending of the adjective, we can have different groups. So we will have 4 different forms if the ending of the adjective is o, dor, or is an adjective that describes the nationality but ends in a consonant. If the adjective ends in ista, e, or consonant, then that adjective has got just 2 different forms. So to help you understand these rules, I'll show you a box here where you can see the number, singular and plural, and the gender, feminine and masculine. And then we'll see if they have 2 or 4 different forms. Adjectives that end in o, for example, bueno, good, bueno, would be bueno, buena, buenos, buenas. So we have 4 different forms. Adjectives that end in dor follow exactly the same rule. For example, hablador, talkative, hablador, habladora, habladores, habladoras. In the case of those adjectives of nationality that end in a consonant, we have español, Spanish, and it would be español, española, españoles, españolas. Now we'll see some examples related to the adjective with just 2 forms. An adjective that ends in e, agradable, kind or nice, we have just 2 forms, agradable or agradables, singular or plural. The gender is the same for both. The same happens with those adjectives that end in ista. For example, pesimista. Pesimista in singular, pesimistas in plural. For female and for male, you use the same. And finally, adjectives that end in a consonant. For example, leal, loyal. You will have leal, singular, leales, plural. Don't forget that if you have an adjective that ends in set, like feliz, happy, to make the plural, you change the letter set for the letter C, and then you add es. So from feliz, happy, felices, happy in plural, would be with the letter C instead. Now I'm going to tell you about the exception, because what would be a rule without an exception? So in the case of those adjectives that end in a consonant, if the ending of the adjective is an, on, or in, then they will have 4 forms instead of 2. So, for example, mandón, which means bossy, would have mandon, mandona, mandones, mandonas. Right, let's talk about now about the position of the adjectives. In Spanish, the adjective normally is placed after the noun. For example, una niña pequeña, a little girl, or un niño grande, a big boy. However, I'm going to tell you now a group that doesn't follow this rule because they always go before the noun. Algún o alguna, ningún o ninguna, buen, mal, and the ordinal numbers. You need to remember that if you're using ordinal numbers before a masculine singular noun, primero and tercero, first and third, will drop the final O. For example, primer niño, the first boy. Primera niña, you see that we don't drop the final vowel for niña, but we drop the O for niño, primer niño. And it happens as well with tercer, tercer niño, tercera niña. Don't forget that some of these adjectives change their meaning depending on the position. So, for example, with these un gran niño and un niño grande, un niño grande would mean a big boy because the adjective goes after the noun. But if I'm putting the same adjective before the noun, I want to say that it's a great boy. It's a great boy instead of a big boy, just because of the position of the same adjective. You can have this situation with some other adjectives, and they are antiguo or antigua. If it goes before the noun, it means old. If it goes after the noun, it means ancient. Gran or grande, as we said earlier, if it goes before the noun, gran means great. If it goes after the noun, means big. Medio o media. If it goes before the noun, it means half. If it goes after the noun, it means average. Pobre. It means poor. So if it goes before the noun, is poor as an unfortunate. If it goes after the noun, it means poor, without money. Único or única. If it goes before the noun, it means only. If it goes after the noun, it means unique. Finally, viejo o vieja. If it goes before the noun, it means old, as long time. And if it goes after the noun, it means old, but as elderly. Right, that's it for today's video. I hope you have enjoyed. If you have any doubts, please let me know in the comment box. And I'll see you soon in the next video. We'll talk about part 2 of the adjectives. And yes, I'll see you soon. Hasta pronto.